Hello, everyone. Our guest today is none other than Stephanie Liu.
Hey, what's up, you guys?
If you don't know Stephanie Liu, which I'm sure almost everyone here does, but just in case, Stephanie, why don't you introduce yourself quickly?
Of course. Hey, everyone. I'm Stephanie Liu. I'm a digital marketing strategist. I'm also the host of Lights, Camera, Live, where we teach you how to get your live video from unknown to unforgettable.
Wow. Yes. I love the show. It's a great show. And Stephanie, one of, I think, the expert in going live. And today we're going to talk about what's new in 2020, what trends to look out for, and try to get a little practical about what should we know to do differently or do new if we haven't done it before. So, and appropriately, we're doing it here on a live show.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, true pleasure. Stephanie, we're going to start with a few questions,
Sure.
and then we'll open it up for discussion and bring in the audience here for the comments. So, you guys, if you're watching live on LinkedIn or in the group, one of our groups in this Wave.video community, please introduce yourself. Say hi in the comments here. Here's Don. Hi, Don. And we will soon bring in. Say hi. Good to see good old friends here. So Stephanie, let's start with what are the best practices and what were the best practices and what were the mistakes back in 2020? In 2019?
Sure. Oh, okay, 2019.
let me ask that again. So, Stephanie, what were the best practices and the biggest mistakes you've seen going on in 2020 on social media?
Got it. Okay, so best practices in 2019 when it came to live video and live streaming is absolutely having a promotional plan. And I've said this many times before, even at Social Media Marketing World, if people don't know, they won't go. So you need to have a promotional plan to get people buzzing before you actually hit the go live button, right? That means if you're going to go live, just don't fall on the notifications. Do things like create a Facebook event, implement a chat bot. I just did this yesterday with my amazing friend Kelly Noble Marabella, and it was bananas in terms of how many live viewers that we had pop up. In addition to that, as you're actually planning your show, have a run of show, meaning knowing what kind of topic you're actually going to deliver. Why is it important? What are you teaching? How is this going to impact your viewers? And what is going to happen if they don't follow your advice? That's your run of show. And then also have, as far as best practices go, have your content distribution plan. Make sure that you're sharing it across your blog posts, your emails, all of that stuff to recap it, because not everyone is going to be able to tune in live. Now, as far as mistakes go, let's be honest, like a lot of our friends got access to LinkedIn Live, and now they're simulcasting on multiple platforms. Well, for those that were actually using Restream, like one of the biggest mistakes that I would see is that they wouldn't go back and edit the description. And the reason why that's such a big, huge issue is because if you were live streaming with Restream, it would automatically put that thing in there. And I know you saw this, Daniel. It would say something that would say multi-streaming with Restream.io, and it wouldn't put in any of the description about what the show is about, everything that we just talked about in pre-promotion. And because of that, people would just scroll past. They're like, oh, okay, here's another alert. I don't know what it's about. And so I feel like that was one of the biggest mistakes. And now those in our circle of our friends, we're nice to each other. Like, friends don't let friends do bad video. So we would tap them and be like, hey, remember to go back in there and yada, yada, yada. And so it's been cool. I'm hoping that most people in 2020 will go ahead and learn from that as well.
Yes, a lot to learn. Me, admittedly, as a newbie on live, I still have a lot to learn. I'm not as focused on live. Live is kind of a bonus for me. We do a lot of repurposing, etc. But yeah, a lot of what you're just saying is like I totally learning myself as well. Go back to the old to the videos you just posted. Double check that the descriptions still make sense. The thumbnails still work, right? This is. It's not always what you thought it was going to be. So
yeah. And one of the things that I love, like, so right now you're using StreamYard, right? And StreamYard allows you to go ahead and stream on multiple platforms, which is amazing. And some people by default, they're just like, cool, let's run with it. But understand that every other platform is like its own country and it has its own etiquette. And so the description that you're using for Facebook might not be the best description that you want to have on LinkedIn, because maybe on Facebook you dropped the link. Don't want to do that on LinkedIn. right? And then there's other things like you could leverage hashtags in your LinkedIn descriptions. Like there's so much that I customize for every single one of the platforms. So keep that in mind.
Excellent. Great advice. Okay, so how do we adopt to 2020? What do we need to do differently? What's changing overall in general, right? What do we?
Yeah. Well, I would say as a live streamer, if you're not leveraging chatbots right now, definitely add that to your plan. I was just talking to Daniel about this, about how, I had Kelly Noble Mirabella on the show, and she showed me this viral loop thing that she could do with chatbots. And it was the best engagement that I ever had in terms of shares. We got 5 times the shares that I normally get on my video just by using her chatbot strategy to get that viral loop in there. So if you're a live streamer and you want more engagement, more views, more shares, start leveraging a chatbot. The other thing to keep in mind as far as 2020 goes in terms of trends is stories are still here. And what I love about this is that if you're a live streamer and you're dropping new stuff, and if people didn't catch the live, still leverage stories to go ahead and pre-promote your show. Do a recap, because as soon as people log in, remember at the very top of the news feed, you're going to see stories, and you're going to see stories even on Instagram. So give people a reason to go ahead and come back to your content. Things that I love about Instagram, not only because of the fact that I'm really good friends with Jen Herman, I'm always pestering her with questions, it's just the fact that like a lot of people are tuning into stories. It's where you could go ahead and just, thumb through when you're standing in line. It's where you could go ahead and engage with people. And I'm seeing some really cool stuff that people are doing. I've seen this with Gary Vaynerchuk, where they'll do a story and then they'll purposely have like an arrow now that points to the section where it says send message. So in the past, right, this is like 2019, in the past, people would say link in bio, and then you would have like an arrow that says click into your profile pic, right? Well, now I'm seeing as people do Instagram stories, they could go ahead and have this little arrow that says send me a message. So I find that that's pretty interesting versus the actual question tag in there. Hey, Scott. I saw Scott Sinclair's comment in there. But yeah, so I mean, stories is definitely going to go ahead and rise. It's going to continue to rise. And if anything, I would say do your pre-promotional videos, not only in landscape, but also in portrait. That way it works in stories. A lot of things that I'm also seeing as far as trends go, TikTok is here, you guys. And like my nieces, my nephews, everyone's doing it. Even the marketers that I know are having fun with it. Daniel, I know that you're on TikTok too, but you're not even posting any content. You're probably just learning from it. But it's so interesting to see as a content creator, as a video content creator, how creative people are when it comes to editing their videos. And I think that's something to be very, very mindful as you're developing videos in 2020 is what is catching people's attention. So how are they doing their transitions? I can't tell you how many videos I watched over the holidays of how people are using their phones and doing certain swipes to give this certain effect when they're actually creating their stories. So those are some really cool things that you could do as you're developing your content.
Fantastic. Okay, question for you, which is personally, I really love to find out. And also a question for those of you watching in the audience here. So why are people in the middle of the day, what gets them get off of work or whatever they're doing and start watching people like us, right? Why? So both for you, Stephanie, and also for people in the comments here, please tell us, why are you, why do you get off in the middle of the day? What motivates you to watch these videos? And Stephanie, I will start with you.
What motivates me to watch these videos? Well, if I know that by the end of the video, I'm going to learn something and it's going to impact my business, then I definitely want to watch it, right? So that's why I said earlier, it's so, so important to have your description, a description of the why, what, how, and what if of why people should be tuning into your video. Because without that, people are going to lose interest. So I'll actually even say this too. There's a study done in the 1970s by Dr. Bernice McCarthy. And it was a study in the educational industry. And they wanted to know, how do people actually learn, right? And people actually learn by asking certain questions. So you have your why audience. Your why audience wants to know why live streaming is going to make an impact in their business in 2020. Then you have your what audience. Your what audience wants to know, what are the stats? What are the statistics? You're going to surprise them by saying, you could get 5 times more engagement by doing a live video. Your how audience, this is your hands-on audience that wants to learn how they can actually do it. So in yesterday's live video with Kelly Noble Marabella, where we actually walked people through on how to build a chatbot, that catered to that specific audience. And then you have the what if. These are your skeptics. They're going to say things like, well, what happens if I don't do video? Well, if you don't do video, then you might actually see a decline in your organic reach and your engagement. And what's going to happen if your competitor is doing that and getting their brand top of mind and tip of tongue? So it's certain things about that that makes me want to watch a video, is knowing that it's going to help me in my business. It's going to be entertaining. And it's something that if I don't watch it, am I going to miss out on a big, 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 huge opportunity?
I guess that's a good segue to ask you the follow-up question, which is, if we are doing lives, or what do you specifically do in your life to actually encourage people to get off of what they're doing and tune in specifically to you versus all the other content or whatever else they could do there?
So I think like what to use, like what live streaming platform or what to have in the show. I'm asking you, Daniel.
Yes, I was muted there. I guess so. Yeah, if you had any specific strategies, or if that's something on top of your mind, that how do you? I mean, that is sort of an objection that we marketers need to work for, right? And to work against. So the objection would be, you want me to get on your live, but I got.
I missed that last part.
So how do we? What?
I missed that last part because the mic cut out. So what was the question again?
Oh, I guess the question was, what are specific tactics that you can create in order to encourage people to get on specifically your lives?
Sure. So let's say you have a promotional strategy. So the first thing that I usually do is I'll have a Facebook event and I'll say the why, what, how, and what if. This is what's happening in the show. These are 3 things that you're going to learn. I usually try to set that up like a week before the actual scheduled live broadcast. And during that time frame, that's when I'm going to go ahead and start dropping in the teasers. That could be the teaser videos. That could mean go ahead and post a question like a poll and say, what questions do you have about live video right now? Or what's your biggest challenge? What are your biggest struggles? And get them involved. That way they know that this show is basically for them, right? Because once you start to engage with them before the actual show, they're going to start to build that rapport and that relationship with you. And that gives them more motivation to tune into the show. It's kind of like a micro commitment. Right, so if I go into my group and I say, hey, I'm going to have Daniel Glickman on the show to talk about Wave Video. What questions do you have about the features and the functionalities and the roadmap for 2020? As soon as people know that they could post a question and I could ask it on air and get the answer in real time, then they're going to have a vested interest in showing up live. The other thing that you can do is have some type of lead magnet or something like a free gift that they could get as a result of watching the show. So for example, again, yesterday with Kelly Noble Marabella, we were talking about chatbots. If they dropped the secret word, then they were able to go ahead and get their hands on her 18-page free guide on how to set up chatbots with live streaming. So that's something that only the live viewers were able to get. And if you're on the replay, then you could still get it. But it's not promoted anywhere else. So it encourages you to go ahead and watch the show, learn how to do it, get the guide, and then by the end of the show, if you wanted to go ahead and get access to her mini course, then you could do that as well. So it was like this whole strategic thing, and it was absolutely amazing. I'm looking at Dawn's comment where she's saying, FOMO, yes, live video, tuning in.
Fantastic advice. I mean, that's really, really great. I'm going to start doing some of that myself. And you guys watching, if you don't know, Stephanie has, I think, hundreds of people on her live sometimes, right? You get like a huge audience, very successful show. So any advice getting from Stephanie, I'm finding it right away.
Yeah. And here's the thing, you don't have to have a chatbot set up for your live stream as well. You could still do a free gift, just in the middle of the show. You could drop basically the link and go from there. But one of the reasons why I truly, truly love doing live video and having people show up in real time is, again, if you have a question about live video, like, you have my undivided attention for the next hour. And I won't even tell you how much I charge per hour on a consulting basis. But this is your opportunity to ask them and get that free advice versus, trying to book someone on a call.
Right. So a lot of doing the positioning to make sure that it's not just a show. People don't just take it for granted. Oh yeah, of course it's there, but making sure people realize it's an opportunity that normally would be worth a lot of money, and they're getting it. They're getting special access for it. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Great advice there. So fantastic. Yes. Let's talk about promotion.
Yeah.
What are some tactics you have for promoting the live before and after the streaming as well?
Yeah. Okay. So I've already told you about Facebook events. That's something that I never skip out on because I know that the Facebook platform allows you to go ahead and be in more places. So what's nice about that is when I'm actually creating the Facebook event, I'm the host. I'll invite my guest as a co-host. That's definitely an opportunity there. And what's nice about that is if any other people are looking for partnerships or sponsorships, they could take that same exact event, add it to their page, and then that way you're getting more promotion from it. Now, not only do I do that on my business page, but I also do that in my group because some people find the social media strategist group but don't know about the business page. So I'll take the same exact copy, push it over there, and then get that same engagement. Other things that you could do as far as pre-promotion goes, I'm a big supporter of doing video, obviously, and Wave.video makes it so easy for me to go ahead and create teaser videos. So I could easily go ahead and get my guest's headshot, something of mine, add a video overlay and say, like, if you're ready to learn about X, Y, and Z, boom, 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 add a track, boom. I already have basically my teaser video that I could launch out there. All of those assets, you guys, I have it in a one sheet for my guest. It's my run of show, it's promotional copy. And I say, here's everything that you need to promote the fact that you are going to be on the show. So here's your Facebook event description that you could pull from. Here is the creative asset that I put in the Facebook cover photo. Here is the promotional tweets. Here's the videos that I created. All of that, I package it up pretty much with like a bow and I give it to my guest. And then they go ahead and do the promotions themselves. What's also nice is that even after the show, right? So this is like after promotion. After the show, my guest and I, we have like a ton of fun. A ton of fun. We're cracking up, and every now and then you might actually see us do like a robot dance or just something geeky. That is gold for creating GIFs. So I will create GIFs of me and my guests. And again, it's another present that I could give to my guests for them to go ahead and repurpose that content. Other things as far as after the show, my goodness, there's like a whole course for this. So I'm just going to give you guys like the high level bullets. But usually after a show is done, like right after the show is done, I'll go in there and I'll engage with everyone that commented on the show. And I think as a live streamer, I already know who is a repeat viewer, so loyal audience. So I could say something like, hey, Dean, welcome back to the show. So good to see you. Happy New Year, yada, yada, yada. If there's a new name that pops up, I will literally say like, wow, Daniel, first time tuning in. Where are you watching from? Because what happens is that as I'm building that relationship, building that rapport, all these happy brain, neurons are coming down. They're like, oh my gosh, she actually engaged with me. And that's something that I want to do with my viewers is I want to build that relationship. And so a couple of the things that I'll do is I'll go the first round of comments like, hey, welcome to the show, boom, boom, boom. Second round is if there's any questions, I'll answer them right away. And I'll make sure that I tag my guest. That way my guest could come back and add more value. So if you're thinking about the long game of your live video, it's not just about the 30 to 45 minutes that your show is actually running. There's still probably like another hour tacked on to the very end of just engaging with your guest. Okay. And we're still talking about comments right now. The next day, right? So my show was yesterday. Friday morning today, I jumped back in and then I looked at the comments because there are people that are watching the replay. So you still want to jump in there and engage with those individuals. Cool. So that's just like everything on Facebook and the live streaming piece of it. The next part is I could tell by the comments in the actual show, like when there's a spike in engagement. And usually when someone leaves a comment, there's a timestamp on there. So with that timestamp, I'm looking for like, oh, wow, was there a knowledge bomb that was just dropped? Because if it was so good that there was a spike in engagement at that point, I'm going to go ahead and download the video, clip that 1 minute, use that in my promotional copy, drop it into Agora Pulse, and then that's just going to go ahead and repeat the cycle of getting people to tune back into the show. So it's like this whole system, Daniel, like it's funny because like Kelly was just like, how do you always have content that's pushing out? It's like, I'm repurposing my content. I go live probably about twice a month, but every single day you will always see some type of piece of content that's coming out from me, whether it's from Lights Camera Live, the show itself, or even interviews like this. Like this can turn into 26 other pieces of content because I'm always going to repurpose it. I never have to worry about what to post on social media. So that was a lot.
That was super awesome. Super awesome tip there, because I mean, repurposing, we're doing a lot of recordings now, a lot of lives, and we're going to repurpose a lot of them. But then the challenge is thinking about which part of the lives to snip out and repurpose. That means you have to watch the whole thing over again, think about it, get some feedback, ask somebody, and then think about what text. But if you just go with your system where you just look at the spikes and say, that's it, I don't need to think. I'm just going to take that, bang, bang, cut it, drop it back into Wave, put it, make a quick clip out of it, make it square, make it vertical, whatever.
Yep.
And make a bunch of these
stories. Yeah.
Yeah. And then just kind of, and you can use it in multiple ways again, even the same clip. So that's huge benefit right there. That's awesome. I love this. So many good ideas today. This is everything very practical. So for another practical question, what are the platforms that you recommend or for streaming? What are the platforms you recommend for streaming, or what are the tools you use?
Sure. So there's two actual live streaming platforms that I use. The main one that I use is Ecamm Live, and that's for Mac only. And I absolutely love that platform. It's something that I've been using, I'd say probably the last 4 years. And what I love about it is that I could create multiple scenes. That means I could have an intro and outro. I'm not limited to how long my videos can be. So if I wanted to have like a 1-minute video testimonial as I'm promoting, like let's say a course, then I could go ahead and drop that in there. What's also nice about it is that I'm a remote live producer. So as I'm producing other shows for other people, if I wanted to have creative assets specifically, let's say for Daniel's show, I could import and export scenes between different devices and never have to worry about it. Or if I'm going on vacation, and this has actually happened, I had to go to an event, I couldn't produce a show, so I tagged my good friend Mike Alton, imported the scenes to him, and then he was able to run it for me as well. So that's Ecamm, and again, that's only for Mac. The other one that I use is the one that we're using right now, which is StreamYard. And StreamYard allows you to go live on multiple platforms, which is really cool if you want to go ahead and cut down the time when it comes to, taking your Facebook video, editing it, and putting it up on YouTube. You might as well just go live on multiple platforms, right? The other thing that I love about StreamYard is that it's a lot easier if you have a guest and they want to share their screen. Because at the very bottom of this user interface, if Daniel was like, hey, Stephanie, let's go ahead and share your screen, there's a quick button there where I just say share screen, show my tab, or show my desktop. And then all of you will be able to go ahead and see what it is exactly that I'm sharing. And it's a lot easier to do that on StreamYard than it actually is on Ecamm, because on Ecamm, if you're going to bring on a guest, then you're using Skype. So those are my two live streaming platforms that I use as far as going for the show. As far as which social media channels that you should be live streaming on, man, that's really up to you and your audience. I'll say for me as a marketer, as a live streamer, Facebook will always be my go-to. And the reason for that is because that's where my audience lives. That's where my fan base is. That's where my groups are. And that's where I could definitely go ahead and take advantage of Facebook ads. Because for me, I could create my custom audiences. I could retarget individuals with my really good content and start booking stages from there. Right? The other one that I enjoy so much is LinkedIn, because it's new and not everyone has access to it. And so it's a really great way for me to tap into an affluent community, start testing out the features and the functionalities that they have there, and just really run with it. The last one I would say is I want to do more on YouTube. I see like my good friends always rocking it out on YouTube, and it's something that I want to do more of. I'm just not much of a YouTuber.
Super awesome. Yeah, thanks. Very practical. Shout out to StreamYard here. We're good friends of theirs, and we recommend them. We've tried a bunch of different software, and this is our software of choice right now. And so when people ask us in the community, etc., a lot of times people ask us, what software do you use? Our experience is that StreamYard is very good, and we love it a lot. And all of these technologies are kind of emerging, right? They're all they're all new and they all have their pros and cons. Everyone is a little bit different. So whatever works
Yeah,
for you, for one person, might not work exactly the way for the other person.
exactly.
And one of the things that I like about StreamYard is that it's very easy to add your intros and outros. So I made one with Wave.video, and I just added it in, and you saw it in the beginning of the live stream here, and the outro will come in as well. Very easy to do. So very nice feature there, which I know not all of these solutions have. Okay, let's see. We've got a couple of questions here. Let's see. Andrew is saying, by using StreamYard, does that aggregate the comments from all channels or platforms or to your comments or community manager?
Yes. So in the actual StreamYard user interface, so on Daniel's side, he's able to see where the comments are coming from as far as like Facebook and YouTube. If he were, I think this is also going to LinkedIn. LinkedIn's API doesn't allow StreamYard or any other third-party platform to pull in the comments just yet, so that's not something that we see. Most likely, if you are live streaming to LinkedIn, it's easier if you just keep another tab open and then just keep an eye on that. And then if you wanted to, you could share your screen from there. But yeah, it makes it pretty seamless, really easy, and you could just show the comments as they pop up.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of sort of nice remarks here and great feedback on the content. So thank you, everybody, to Tan in this case. We've got, let's see, I'm looking for more questions here.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them now. There's probably going to be like a 10-second delay, so get in now.
Yeah, somebody is anonymous user. So this is one thing that happens with any streaming service, for us to see who they are. So a lot of the comments, I can't see who made them. And some of them are kind of personal, like, hi again, Daniel. Like, I don't know who's saying that. So hi to everyone. Let's see. Some of these Taz saying Ecamm is such a game changer for me. Somebody saying they have to go to a customer appointment. Yes, customers are more important. What else do we have here? So yeah, any more questions? Yeah, please type them in there. FYI, LinkedIn Live today didn't work because StreamYard says there was some problem with LinkedIn. So yeah, new technologies, and doesn't always work the way you want it to. So we might have to do this again, Stephanie, just for LinkedIn.
Or you could do a little hack that I did before. What I would do is, because StreamYard actually gives you an HD recording of this particular interview, what you can do is that you could go ahead and after the show, download that video. And then whenever you have time, just go ahead and go live onto LinkedIn. Oh God, wait, you don't have that on StreamYard. Take that back. Download the video from StreamYard. And then if you have something like Ecamm, what you can do is this. Is you go live on Ecamm, connect over to LinkedIn and say like, hey, you guys, I had an amazing show with Daniel. We were talking about Wave.video. Then do your why, what, how, and what if formula. And then say, and now I'm going to go ahead and play back the video for you. And then now you're dropping in the replay video, letting that play, but you can still engage with your audience in real time to say like, this is a replay, but I'm still here to answer your questions. It's kind of like you're creating a watch party at that point. And then you end the stream. That's pretty much like one of the main differences between StreamYard and Ecamm is that Ecamm, you could play any video length that you want, but then on StreamYard, you're limited to about 30 seconds.
Okay, so Don is asking, what's the future trends across Instagram and Live, FPO?
What's the future for trends across Instagram and Live? I would probably imagine. For Instagram trends, I would probably reach out to Jen Herman because she basically wrote 2 books on Instagram marketing. But what I do see is, I'm seeing people that are following the challenges that are happening on TikTok and then repurposing it over to Instagram. So it's interesting, again, to see how people are developing their stories in that sense. And again, I'm more of a stories person. I mean, you go to my Instagram profile, it's like, I don't do anything on that feed. I'm probably being ridiculous and cracking jokes in the stories 24/7.
Interesting here. Andrew is asking, is Stephanie using an out-of-frame mic, or is it the earbuds in the ear that has the audio input? And he's saying
Now,
that he is watching on LinkedIn, but with a 5-minute delay. So we are live on LinkedIn. Okay.
oh, good, good, good. Yeah, so I actually have a Blue Yeti mic. It's right here. It's kind of off screen. Sorry, my DSLR is all the way up there. But yeah, it's a Blue Yeti mic. I have it set up over here on cardioid. I wear the headphones because I don't want Daniel's audio to feed back into my mic. So whenever you have a guest, try to have them wear headphones, because otherwise you're just going to see comment after comment like, there's something wrong with the audio. And that sucks. And it sucks as a live streamer. So yeah, do that.
Thanks, Andrew, for that info and for the great question. Yes, that's a good tip. Some mics and systems have, like, I don't have the issue of the feedback or the audio feedback and the echo, but sometimes it happens. So yeah, go figure. Great questions, everybody. And I think this was one of the best interview this year. So
I'm setting the bar high, you guys.
Yeah,
So whoever's next, you gotta like drop all the knowledge bombs.
Speaking of whoever's next, we've got Bella Vasta next week on a different video series, interview series here about video marketing strategy.
Oh,
And
cool.
she's going to share some of how she creates video strategies for her clients and what kind of videos she makes, and very practical. So that'll be good. I think we got one more question. Let me see here.
Go for it.
Oh, just a thank you. Thank you, everybody. So great. And I think it's time. And Stephanie, I know people have been asking for some of your resources, like the chatbots and how
far back is it? Oh, goodness. So I have a Blue Yeti mic, and it's actually on a microphone boom arm, which is really cool because it goes like this. And then when I don't need it anymore, I just push it out of the frame. But you might hear some squeaking. So I can't really move it because the camera's positioned there. But as far as how far away it is from me, I'd probably say it's about arm's length away. And I do that purposely because I know Tal, whenever I do a video, I speak very loud and I crack up, and I have this pop filter on there because I don't want it to mess with the audio. Like, I don't want to blow out your eardrums. And then as far as like where to get the resources, if you go to facebook.com/Hey Stephanie Liu, you'll see everything in there as far as all the shows. So if you wanted to watch like Kelly Noble Marabella's interview on how to do the chatbot, dude, you could still jump in on that and get her 18-page free guide. So just go over there and follow that. As far as everything else, I do have a social media strategist Facebook group. Daniel is in there, and I have units set up. And I have units for things like, what are some tips for Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, all of that good stuff. We have about over 2,000 strategists in that group. So social media strategists and how they're using video. So definitely go ahead and hang out with that.
It's a great group. Yeah. And so is the Wave.video community group, which if you're not viewing from there, make sure to join as well.
Yes.
FYI microphones, here's another trick. There's the issue of when people speak straight into the mic, you might get that hammering effect. So I put my mic in a bit of an angle, so it's right there. So I'm not talking into it, I'm talking past it. But that means it has to be fairly close. I also have a podcaster mic, which is a bit different than the Yeti. It's very, very good at screening out all the background noises. And because I'm and my office has construction next door, you can't see it from here. I kind of see it. Because I have all of this construction going on, I have all this ambient noise and the AC right up there. Let's go. The vent keeps going up. Right? The vent keeps going off and all of that. There's a lot of ambient noise. So I opted for this mic and doing this technique.
Which mic do you have? Because I have the Blue Yeti, and even like for my clients that do video, I bought them Blue Yetis for the holidays. Which one do you have?
I have the Podcaster 2 by Rode, which again is better for this specific situation. And I'm recording a podcast as well, so it's but they're both very good. The Yeti is kind of the go-to microphone, really, really kind of the standard, the very best standard out there, or the very best brand.
And shout out to Dawn, because she said good point about using the mics. Here's the thing too, Dawn, is that like I know that I talk with my hands, and so I got to like have that mic away from me. Because I can't tell you how many times like I get so excited having a guest on the show and it's like boom, and you're like, oh no, I wish I didn't do that.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so I think it is time for our outro. So, so Stephanie, thank you so much for your time. If anybody out there is watching after the fact, if your now is our future, please feel free to comment. We will check in and see those comments, get notified, and respond, even if you're not watching or participating during the live. So that's great, and see you next time. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you, Daniel.